President Trump's longtime personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, is going to jail. Cohen has just been sentenced in a New York City courtroom on multiple charges, including his role in paying hush money during the 2016 election to two women alleged to have had affairs with Trump. Payments prosecutors say were coordinated with and directed by Donald Trump himself. Let's go right to our Justice Department correspondent, Pete Williams, in our Washington newsroom. Pete?
Well, this is
Michael Cohan, Trump attorney, went to prison for campaign finance, for misuse of campaign financing, for paying off Stormy Daniels to keep quiet about sleeping with Trump. Under the Trump administration, while Bill Barr was Attorney General, who Trump himself has picked. So if it wasn't political, if it wasn't illegal at that time, under the Trump administration, how is it political to charge him with the crime that he benefited from? Supposedly he could not have been charged because he was a sitting president. He's not a president now. You just need to understand how Europeans manipulate the law and how they feel that each of them feel that the law should not be held accountable. They should not be held accountable to the law, right? And I want to show you how they manipulate the law, even playing it against one another.
It was like a politically charged prosecution here, and I, for my part, I just feel like it's just not what the American people want to see. We got real challenges in this country.
He's calling on people to protest, to come out and protest, take our nation back. We know what happened the last time.
The American people have a constitutional right to peaceably assemble.
Absolutely, but to have a former president...
Except when you African American, then they sick all the police on you.
The frustration the American people feel about what they sense is a two-tier justice system in this country, I think is well-founded.
To you how that system is even manipulated with them, right? Be clear. They don't want him prosecuting for hiding the fact that he used campaign financing to silence Stormy Daniels, which should make everybody suspicious that this billionaire had to go into his campaign financing to pay this woman off $100,000. Why he couldn't do it out of his own cash, I don't understand if he's so freaking rich. But now, so it wasn't political, and he was vice president. He was silent when Michael Cohan went to prison for it. Why wasn't it political when Michael Cohan went to prison for it and it benefited his boss, Trump? You have to see how they quickly to deflect the attention away from their criminal activities towards everything else. If you want to talk about crime in the inner city, then you have to talk about economics, and you're not going to talk about how you do not economically invest in our communities, which leads us to have to hustle drugs and do these crimes and stuff and things like that, because there's a lack of jobs in our community. So you're not going to talk about that. You're not going to talk about how y'all white people was crying because banks weren't loaning white businesses money, but how you've never loaned black businesses money. See, we're not going to talk about those things that create crime. We're going to bypass all that because we're going to reflect away from their criminal activity. White people do not want to be held accountable for their actions under no circumstances, and how they manipulate this justice system is outrageous. He can't be held accountable, but the Republicans was all for prosecuting, impeaching President Clinton.
Here from anybody. Prosecutors emphasize the real issue here is not sex, but the president allegedly subverting the legal system by getting others to lie and obstructing justice.
The evidence suggests that the president repeatedly tried to thwart the legal process in the Jones matter.
The Constitution says that a president can be impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors, but the Constitution does not define what those terms mean. So they're up to Congress to define it.
I do not think that unless these misconduct raises to the level of an assault on our fundamental political system, that they're impeachable, even if every one of them is true. This was not an impeachable offense. It's very painful. It's very embarrassing. It has nothing to do with the running of the government. There were a number of Republicans who knew that this was all nonsense, but they were going to go along because they were being forced by the party.
History unfolding in the nation's capital today as a somber House of Representatives voted for only the second time in American history to impeach a president of the United States.
Now, I want us to be clear that I'm no fan of Clinton. Clinton did the Crime Bill Act, which directly put more black people in prison than anything in the last, any other act in history. He also did the Telecom Act, which consolidated the radio stations and television stations, which is one of the reasons why we get such negative images of ourselves back presented back to us, because it allowed the other white stations to buy up the black stations, the black radio stations. And we lost talk radio, so we stopped talking politics and things of that nature. So I'm not a fan of Clinton, but be clear. This is how Europeans manipulate the law back and forth. Even within themselves, they play these games with this legal system, because it's nothing but a game to them. It is a means for empowerment for them. And whoever's in, and they was using it to take down their king at the time. They was using it to take down the Clinton. So it wasn't political when you used the Monica Lewinsky sex scandal to target Clinton, but now it's political that the Republicans, that they feel that the Democrats are charging Trump for a crime that his lawyer went to prison for. So his lawyer was actually committing the crime, and we know that the crime benefited Donald Trump. So there's legal standings behind this act, and a lot of Trump crimes affected the entire country. He tried to victimize the entire Milwaukee electorate, tried to deny our vote. Actually, they tried to deny the vote of Wisconsin. No matter whether you Republican or Democrat, they tried to take away your right to vote. This is what Trump and his allies, this is what he promoted, this is what they did, this is what January 6th was about. So white people do not believe in any accountability for their crimes. We have to understand that the English language is considered a bastard language. What do that mean? It is taken from multiple other languages. English is a bastard language. Most of the origins of any English word goes back to another nation, and almost every word in the English dictionary has multiple meanings. That because they words have no value. They have no principles. America has did 368 treaties with the natives and have kept not one of them. America has not kept any international agreement with any country. Their word means nothing. That's what we have to understand. The legal system is just a tool to gain power. It is a tool of oppression. That is the purpose of America's judicial system.